Okay, so today we're going deep into companion planting,
Oh, yeah.
especially in South Africa.
I love it.
And we've got an amazing guide from HomeGrowers in Edenvale.
Fantastic.
They really are the experts.
Oh, for sure.
Um, and it's not just chucking a bunch of plants together.
Right.
It's about understanding how they work together.
Yeah, it's like they're helping each other out.
Right, and we can use that to
Exactly.
make our gardens amazing.
Yeah, less pests, better growth,
So it's like we're kind of being lazy gardeners.
No, not lazy exactly, but working smarter, not harder.
Yeah, using what nature already knows.
Exactly, mimicking nature.
So tell me, how does that actually work, like in a practical sense?
Well, you see, in nature, plants have these relationships.
Uh-huh.
They've evolved over a really long time.
Okay.
And companion planting is just like tapping into that.
Like we're eavesdropping on their conversations.
Yeah, and using that to our advantage.
So instead of like spraying a ton of chemicals, we're letting the plants do the work.
Exactly. And one of the best examples is tomatoes and basil.
Oh yeah, classic.
So basil has these compounds in it, estragol and linalool.
Wow. Big words.
Well, they're basically like pest repellents. And they mess with the pest's ability to find the tomatoes.
So it's like the basil is hiding the tomatoes.
Yeah, kind of like an invisibility cloak for pests.
I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's not just like some old wives' tale or something.
Right.
There's actual science to back it up.
Oh, that's always good to hear.
Definitely. So, you got your tomatoes protected.
Okay, so what other plant combinations are there?
Well, a big thing is attracting those beneficial insects.
Okay, right, the good guys.
The predators that keep the bad bugs in check.
So we want to invite them to the party.
Exactly, and things like coriander, dill, fennel.
Oh, those all sound delicious.
They are, and they're great for the garden, too.
How so?
Well, they provide shelter and attract these predators, like ladybirds, lacewing, those guys.
I'm starting to see how this all fits together.
Yeah.
It's like we're creating this little ecosystem.
Precisely a balanced ecosystem.
Right, where everything's working in harmony.
And a diverse one, too, you know?
Oh, yeah. Why is diversity important?
Well, the more variety you have, the more beneficial insects you'll attract.
So it's like a buffet for the good bugs.
Exactly. Keep them happy, and they'll keep your garden healthy.
Now, I've heard that legumes are good for the garden.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I don't really know why.
Okay, so legumes, like beans, lentils, peas, they're nitrogen fixers.
Nitrogen fixers. Okay, what does that even mean?
Well, they have this symbiotic relationship with bacteria.
Bacteria in their roots.
Yeah, these little guys live in the roots.
Wow.
And they take nitrogen from the air
Okay.
and convert it into something plants can use.
Like fertilizer.
Exactly. So they're like little fertilizer factories.
That's amazing.
And that nitrogen helps the legumes themselves,
Uh-huh.
but also any plants growing nearby.
So they're sharing the wealth.
Sharing is caring in the garden.
I love it. So we've talked about the plants now. Let's talk about those beneficial insects.
Okay.
Those are the real heroes.
The guardians.
So tell me, who are they?
Well, there are ladybirds. They just gobble up aphids.
Like little vacuum cleaners?
Yeah, they love them. And then there are lacewings.
I've seen those around.
They're great. Both the adults and their larvae eat pests.
Oh, so the kids help out too.
Yeah, they're little eating machines, aphids, mites, all kinds of things.
Wow. What about hoverflies? For those are good too.
Oh, yeah, hoverflies are amazing.
Tell me more.
Their larvae are aphid-eating champions.
Like little superheroes.
And the adults, they pollinate your plants.
So it's a double whammy.
2-for-1 deal. You can't beat that.
Okay, so how do we make our gardens attractive to these guys?
Well, diversity is key, like we talked about.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
And also flowering herbs like coriander, dill, fennel, parsley.
So it's like we're setting up a buffet.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget about composite flowers.
Okay, like what can...
Yarrow daisies, sunflowers.
Oh, yeah.
They provide food and landing spots for the beneficial insects.
So they can rest and refuel.
Exactly. And in South Africa, umbellifer flowers are great too.
Umbellifer flowers. What are those?
So they're like umbrella shaped.
Okay.
Like carrots, fennel, dill have those kinds of flowers.
Uh-huh.
And they attract hoverflies and parasitic wasps.
Parasitic wasps. Those sound kind of scary.
I know the name's a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
But they're actually tiny and they're really good for your garden.
How so?
They lay their eggs in pests, and that controls the pest population.
So it's like nature's way of keeping things in balance.
Exactly. They're like little assassins.
Wow, nature's amazing.
It really is. And speaking of amazing, have you heard about marigolds?
Oh yeah, marigolds, they're pretty.
They're more than just pretty. They're like superheroes.
Superheroes, how so?
They repel nematodes. Those are tiny worms that damage roots.
Oh, I've heard of those nasty little things.
Yeah, and as a bonus, they also attract hoverflies.
Wow, so many benefits from one little flower.
They're powerhouses.
Okay, so I'm ready to get started with my own companion planting.
Great.
What are some good combinations that work well here in South Africa?
Well, the classic tomatoes and basil is always a winner.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But there are so many others you can try.
Okay, tell me more.
Cabbage and nasturtiums are a good one.
Nasturtiums, I love those.
They're great because they act as a trap crop.
A trap crop, what does that mean?
It means they attract the pests away from your cabbage.
Oh, so it's like a decoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They sacrifice themselves to save the cabbage.
That's so clever.
Another great combination is carrots and onions.
Okay.
Onions repel carrot flies, and carrots deter onion flies, so they help each other out.
It's a win-win.
Exactly, a true partnership.
What about beans? Any good companions for them?
Beans and marigolds are a great match.
Okay.
Marigolds protect the beans from those pesky nematodes.
Those nematodes are everywhere.
They can be, but marigolds keep them at bay.
I've seen a pattern here. Flowers are really important.
They really are. They're not just for looks.
They're like the backbone of the garden.
Yeah, they attract beneficial insects. They repel pests.
So we need lots of flowers.
The more the better.
Okay, so we've covered companion planting and beneficial insects. Any other tips for creating that balanced ecosystem?
Yes, definitely. The guide really emphasizes avoiding pesticides.
Right, those chemicals.
They might seem like a quick fix, but they can really mess things up.
How so?
Well, they kill the good bugs along with the bad bugs.
So it's like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
Exactly. You're disrupting the natural balance.
Okay, and what about water?
Water is essential for your beneficial insects, too.
Of course.
So a shallow dish with some water and pebbles,
Okay.
that gives them a place to drink and stay hydrated.
It's like a little spa for the bugs.
I like that.
Mm.
So we're aiming for a vibrant, slightly wild garden.
Right, not too manicured.
Let nature do its thing.
It makes me wonder, what if we stopped fighting pests
Yeah,
and focused on creating an environment where they're naturally controlled?
that's a great question, and I think that's the whole point of companion planting.
Yeah, it's about working with nature, not against it.
Exactly, observing nature's wisdom and using it to our advantage.
And in the process, creating a beautiful and thriving garden.
And a delicious one, too. Don't forget about all those herbs.
True, we can eat our gardens too.
It's the best of both worlds.
Well, thank you so much for this deep dive into companion planting. It's been really enlightening.
My pleasure. I always love talking about gardening.
And I'm sure our listeners are feeling inspired to get out there and create their own little ecosystems.
I hope so. It's a fascinating journey and incredibly rewarding.
Absolutely. So until next time, happy gardening, everyone.
Happy gardening.